I-28F was never the favorite child in my family. That position belonged to my sister Ava, 24F, the golden child who could do no wrong. My mother Linda, 52F, adored her, and my father, 54M, always went along with whatever they wanted. Me? I was just there, a shadow in my own home. I've spent the last 4 years working at a major tech company in Silicon Valley, building my career in digital education technology. While I was excelling at work, developing new skills, and secretly planning my own business venture, my family still treated me like I was worthless. Every accomplishment was met with indifference, every success overshadowed by whatever minor achievement Ava had that week. The pattern was always the same. If Ava failed a test, somehow it was because I stressed her out. If she lost a friend, I must have done something to cause it. If she broke something, I must have pushed her into it. And Linda? She believed every word, every time. I learned to stay quiet, to work harder, to keep my head down. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I proved my worth, they'd finally see me. But nothing ever changed. I continued working on my plans in silence, building my savings, and developing my online education platform on the side. It all came crashing down last month. Ava had failed a crucial exam for her graduate school application. I was working from home that day, focused on my project development, when the screaming started. I didn't even know what was happening at first. I was just sitting there at my desk, listening to them yell. "This is all your fault." Ava was screaming, her face red with rage. "You're always here, always working, always making me feel like I'm not good enough." I stared at her, completely bewildered. I had barely spoken to her in weeks, deliberately keeping my distance to avoid any confrontation. But before I could even process what was happening, Linda jumped in. "We would be so much happier without you," she spat, her words dripping with venom. "You've ruined our lives. Everything was perfect before you started this obsession with your career." That was it. The moment something inside me finally broke. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't beg them to take it back. I just nodded, stood up from my desk, and walked to my room. They kept yelling, their voices following me up the stairs, but I didn't hear the words anymore. My hands were steady as I grabbed the emergency backpack I'd prepared months ago. It contained everything essential, important documents, some clothes, my laptop, and the hard drive containing all my business plans. I'd been preparing for this moment without even realizing it. I walked past them and toward the front door. Neither of them tried to stop me. Neither of them even seemed to notice I was leaving. The sound of their arguing followed me out into the night, growing fainter with each step I took. The weight of my backpack pressed against my shoulders as I walked away from the house I'd never truly called home. The night air was cold, but I didn't shiver. I'd always thought leaving would feel more dramatic, like in the movies, tears streaming down my face, a last lingering look at my childhood home. But there was none of that. I had a plan. I had savings, not just the emergency fund in my backpack, but substantial savings from my tech job that they knew nothing about. I had my nearly completed education platform, already in beta testing. I had my skills, my experience, and most importantly, I had my freedom. That night, I checked into a small hotel on the other side of town. As I sat at the desk under the flickering fluorescent light, I opened my laptop and started implementing the business launch plan I'd been refining for months. My hands were still steady, my mind clearer than it had ever been. Looking back now, I realized that moment wasn't just about leaving, it was about choosing myself for the first time in my life. They thought they were punishing me, but they had actually set me free. The next morning, as the sun rose over Silicon Valley, I began my new life. Not as the shadow in my family's home, but as the founder and CEO of my own educational technology company. I thought that was the end of my story with them. I was wrong. That first month was a blur of intense focus and determination. I threw myself into launching my business, working from my hotel room from dawn until late into the night. My background in edtech proved invaluable. I knew exactly what the market needed and how to provide it. I started small, using my connections from Silicon Valley to find my first clients. The platform I'd been developing in secret was designed to provide personalized test prep and tutoring services, focusing initially on graduate school entrance exams, something I knew intimately from watching Ava's struggles, though I'd never tell her that. My experience had taught me what most online education platforms were missing: personalization at scale. While my competitors were either fully automated or exclusively one-on-one, I developed a hybrid approach that combined AI-driven analytics with human expertise. It wasn't just another tutoring service, it was a complete learning ecosystem. Within 2 weeks, word started spreading. My first students began sharing their success stories, and referrals started pouring in. By week 3, I had enough income to move out of the hotel and into a small but modern apartment in a secure building. It wasn't the high-rise I dreamed of, but it was mine, paid for with my own money. During all this time, my phone remained silent. No calls from Linda, no messages from Ava, no attempts from my father to reach out. The silence should have hurt, I suppose, but instead, it felt like a confirmation. They had meant what they said, they were happier without me. And surprisingly, I was happier without them too. I developed a routine. Wake up early, hit the gym in my building, work on platform development until noon, handle client meetings in the afternoon, and spend evenings analyzing data and adjusting our teaching algorithms. Every success, every positive review, every student who achieved their goals, it all felt like a personal victory. The business grew faster than I'd anticipated. By the end of the month, I had to hire my first 2 employees, both experienced tutors who saw the potential in my platform. We were handling hundreds of students, and our success rate was attracting attention from educational institutions. Then, this morning, everything changed. My phone buzzed with a notification. Then another. And another. I glanced at the screen and felt my heart stop for a moment. Linda, 6 missed calls. Ava, 8 missed calls. Dad, 3 missed calls. As I stared at the screen, more notifications kept coming in. Text messages, voicemails, even emails. After a month of silence, they were suddenly desperate to reach me. I sat there in my office chair, looking out at the city below, my finger hovering over the phone. What could they possibly want after all this time? Because one thing was certain, it wasn't going to be an apology. I picked up my phone and scrolled through the messages. Each one more desperate than the last. Linda, please call us back. It's important. Ava, I know you hate me, but please answer. Dad, we need to talk. It's about your sister's future. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I walked to my floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the morning traffic flow beneath me. The company I'd built was thriving. Just yesterday, we'd signed a major contract with a university to provide their graduate test prep programs. I didn't need their drama now. But curiosity got the better of me. I decided to listen to one voicemail, just one. I chose my father's, thinking he might be the most rational. We're in trouble, his voice was strained, unfamiliar. Your sister, she's been rejected from all her graduate schools. Your mother's devastated. We've spent everything on her applications and prep courses. Nothing's working. We know you're doing well with your internet thing. Please, we need your help. Internet thing. Of course, that's how they saw it. Not as a successful educational technology company that was revolutionizing test prep. Not as the achievement it was. Just an internet thing. More messages kept coming. Ava, I saw your company online. You're helping other people get into grad school. Why won't you help your own sister? Linda, you owe us this much. After everything we've done for you. Everything they'd done for me? I laughed out loud at that one, the sound echoing in my empty office. What exactly had they done except tear me down at every opportunity? I set my phone down and went back to work. But the messages kept coming, growing increasingly desperate. Linda, please, we're behind on bills. Ava, mom's crying every day because of you. Dad, just talk to us. We're family. Family. That word used to mean something to me. Used to hurt me. Now it just felt empty. I spent the rest of the morning in meetings, discussing expansion plans with my team. We were growing fast, looking to hire more tutors, developing new features for the platform. This was my real life now. My real family was this company I built from nothing. But as evening approached, my phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from an unknown number, one of my cousins. Your mom's telling everyone you've abandoned the family. That you've let success go to your head. That you're refusing to help Ava when she needs you most. That was it. That was the moment I finally decided to respond. Not out of guilt, not out of obligation, but out of a desire to end this once and for all. I picked up my phone and called Linda. Oh, thank God, she answered on the first ring. We've been so worried. No, I cut her off. You haven't been worried. You've been desperate. There's a difference. Silence on the other end. Then, we need your help. Your sister failed her exams. I know. I heard the voicemails. We need money, she finally admitted. For her prep courses. For another round of applications. We know your business is doing well. I looked around my office, at the graphs showing our growth, at the whiteboard filled with future plans. Everything I'd built without them. Everything I'd achieved despite them. No, I said simply. But we're family. Linda's voice rose. You can't just. Family? I laughed. Was I family when you blamed me for every one of Ava's failures? Was I family when you told me you'd be happier without me? Was I family during this past month when none of you even checked if I was alive? That's different, she protested weakly. We were upset. And now I'm busy, I replied. Funny how that works. Please, she was crying now. We don't know what else to do. I do, I said. You can do what I did. Start from nothing. Build something. Learn to stand on your own feet. I did it without any help from you. Ava can do the same. How can you be so cruel? I'm not being cruel, Mom. I'm being fair. For the first time in my life, I'm treating you exactly as you treated me. The only difference is, I'm being honest about it. I ended the call and blocked their numbers. All of them. Then I went back to my windows, watching the sun set over the city. My city. My life. My success. They thought I was being cruel. Maybe I was. But sometimes cruelty is just boundaries they don't want you to set. Sometimes silence is just the absence of toxicity they've grown used to inflicting. I turned back to my computer and opened our company's dashboard. We had 20 new student signups today. 20 people who needed my help, who would appreciate what I could offer. 20 relationships based on mutual respect and clear expectations. That's the family I chose to build. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Update 1, it's been 2 weeks since I blocked their numbers, and my business has taken off in ways I never imagined. Our platform isn't just helping students anymore, we've expanded into corporate training and professional certification prep. Last week, we secured a partnership with 3 major tech companies to provide specialized technical certification programs. The growth has been explosive. We've moved to a larger office space, and I've hired 15 more people, a mix of developers, content creators, and education specialists. The small startup I launched from a hotel room now occupies half a floor in a downtown high-rise. But success brings visibility, and visibility brings unwanted attention. Yesterday, I received an email from one of Ava's friends, forwarding me screenshots of my sister's social media posts. She's been sharing articles about my company, adding captions about how her successful sister abandoned the family in their time of need. The emotional manipulation is so obvious it's almost laughable. What she doesn't mention is how she's been trying to sign up for our platform using different email addresses, attempting to get free access. Our system flagged multiple account creation attempts from the same IP address. Each time, she included a note in the registration, "I'm your sister, you have to help me." No, I don't. I've instructed my team to automatically decline any applications from my family members. It's not personal, it's just good business practice. We can't have conflicts of interest affecting our service quality. The most interesting development, though, has been the unexpected support I've received. After Linda started spreading stories about me in our extended family, my cousin Jessica, 31F, reached out. Turns out, she'd gone through something similar with her own mother. We met for coffee last week, and for the first time, I felt like I had family who actually understood me. They did the same thing to me, she told me, stirring her latte. When I chose to become a surgeon instead of taking over my mom's real estate business, they said I was betraying the family. Now they only call when they want medical advice. We've started having weekly dinners together. It's strange how family can feel more like family when they're not actually your immediate relatives. The company's success has also attracted media attention. A local tech magazine did a feature on us, highlighting our innovative approach to personalized education. The reporter asked about my background, my inspiration. I told them about my experience in Silicon Valley, about seeing gaps in the education technology market. I didn't mention my family. They haven't earned the right to be part of my story. Linda found the article, of course. She sent an email to my company's general contact address. I raised you to be better than this. I sacrificed everything for you and your sister. Now you're successful, and you won't even help your own family? What kind of daughter are you? Our customer service team forwarded it to me with a note. Should we add this to the blocked list? Yes, definitely. But the most satisfying moment came last week. One of our largest competitors reached out about a potential acquisition. They offered 8 figures. I declined. This company isn't just about money, it's about proving something to myself. And maybe, in a way, to them. I've started mentoring young entrepreneurs, particularly women from difficult family backgrounds. During one session, a mentee asked me how I deal with the guilt of cutting off toxic family members. Guilt? I replied. I don't feel guilty. I feel free. And it's true. The more distance I put between myself and their drama, the clearer everything becomes. Success isn't just about making money or building a business. It's about building the life you want, with the people you choose. My team has become my new family. We celebrate wins together, support each other through challenges, and push each other to grow. Last Friday, we had a company dinner to celebrate surpassing our quarterly goals. Looking around that table, seeing the passion and dedication in everyone's eyes, I realized something. This is what family should feel like. I've moved to a new apartment in a more secure building. The view from my home office shows the entire city skyline. Sometimes, when I'm working late, I think about that night I left with just a backpack. I think about how scared I should have been, but wasn't. How uncertain everything should have felt, but didn't. Yesterday, we launched a scholarship program for students from disadvantaged backgrounds. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm helping strangers achieve their dreams while refusing to help my own sister. But these students put in the work. They don't expect anything to be handed to them. They don't use emotional manipulation to get what they want. Linda and Ava have started reaching out to my employees on LinkedIn, trying to get messages to me. One of my team leads showed me the messages, asking how we should handle it. Add them to the block list, I said. And update our HR policies to include guidelines about handling contact from employees' family members. We're expanding internationally next month. The platform will be available in 3 new countries, with localized content and regional expertise. Every day, we receive messages from students whose lives we've helped change. These are the stories I care about now. My cousin Jessica jokes that success is the best revenge, but I don't see it that way. This isn't about revenge. It's about growth. It's about choosing what kind of life you want to live and having the courage to build it. This morning, I received another email from an unknown address. It was my father. Your mother's not sleeping. Ava's depressed. Is your success worth destroying your family? I archived it without replying. My success didn't destroy our family. Their behavior did. I just chose not to let it destroy me too. The sun's setting over the city as I write this. My team's still here, working late on our international launch. Someone just ordered pizza for everyone. We're laughing, brainstorming, building something meaningful together. This is my family now. This is my success. This is my choice. And I don't regret it for a second. Update 2, I never expected them to find me at my office, but they did. This morning, as I was reviewing our international expansion metrics with my executive team, my assistant rushed in with an urgent message. My entire family was in the lobby, demanding to see me. Through the security cameras, I could see them, Linda looking more disheveled than I'd ever seen her, my father appearing somehow smaller than I remembered, and Ava, clutching what looked like a stack of papers. They'd found our new corporate headquarters, a fact that concerned me more than their presence. Should I call security? My assistant asked. I considered it for a moment. Part of me wanted to have them removed immediately, but another part knew this confrontation was inevitable. After our international launch made the business news, staying hidden was no longer an option. No, I said finally. Send them to conference room B, I'll handle this myself. Maiku touched my arm. Want me to come with you? I shook my head. This is something I need to do alone. The walk to the conference room felt surreal. Through the glass walls of our office, I could see my team watching, concerned. They all knew my story, not because I'd told them, but because they'd seen the growth of both the company and me as a leader. I entered the room, closing the door behind me. The contrast was striking, them in their rumpled, casual clothes, sitting in my sleek, modern conference room with its view of the city skyline. How did you find me? I asked, remaining standing. Linda started to rise, but I held up my hand. Stay seated. This isn't your house. This is my company, and we'll do this my way. Your company, Ava snorted, but I could see the envy in her eyes as she looked around. Must be nice to have everything handed to you. I actually laughed at that. Handed to me? I built this from nothing. While you were blaming me for your failures, I was working 18-hour days. While you were posting about me on social media, I was securing international contracts. We need your help, my father cut in, his voice tired. Your sister's future is her responsibility, I interrupted. Just like my future was my responsibility when you all told me I was ruining your lives. Linda pulled out her phone, hands shaking. Look at these bills. We're about to lose the house. Your sister can't get into any programs. We've tried everything. Except taking responsibility, I finished for her. Except admitting that maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't everyone else. Maybe it's you. I walked to the window, looking out at the city I'd conquered. Below us, I could see the hotel where I'd started this journey. It felt like a lifetime ago. Do you know what we did last week? I asked, not turning around. We launched in 3 new countries. Our platform is now helping students in 12 different languages. We've awarded scholarships to 50 underprivileged students who showed actual dedication and drive. I turned back to face them. Yesterday, I received a thank you letter from a single mother in Detroit. She used our platform to pass her medical board exams. She studied at night, after her kids were asleep, never making excuses, never blaming others for her challenges. That's great, Ava said bitterly, but what about your own sister? What about her? I replied coldly. What has she done except demand and blame? Show me her study schedule. Show me her effort. Show me anything except accusations and guilt trips. She started to speak, but I cut her off. Did you know we track every user's study hours? Their progress? Their engagement? We can predict with 92% accuracy who will succeed based on their dedication. It's not about intelligence or talent. It's about work ethic. I walked to the conference table and sat down, finally at eye level with them. I'll make you an offer, I said, watching their faces light up with hope. Not money, I added quickly, seeing their expressions fall. Something better. A chance. I pulled out my tablet and opened our analytics dashboard. I'll give Ava access to our platform. Complete access, all features, all courses. But, I held up a finger as she started to smile, with conditions. Every minute of her study time will be tracked. Every practice test recorded. Every progress metric monitored. If she puts in the work, real work, not excuses, she'll succeed. If not, she fails. Just like everyone else. That's it? Linda asked incredulously. That's all you're offering? That's more than she deserves, I replied. But yes, that's it. No special treatment. No shortcuts. No family discount. Just the same opportunity everyone else gets. We need money, my father said quietly. The house is not my problem, I finished. Your financial decisions are your responsibility. Just like mine were when I left with nothing but a backpack. I stood up again, straightening my jacket. That's my final offer. Take it or leave it. Either way, this meeting is over. You've changed, Linda said, her voice trembling. You've become so cold. No, I corrected her. I've become successful. There's a difference. Cold was telling your daughter you'd be happier without her. Cold was blaming her for everyone else's failures. Cold was ignoring her existence until you needed something from her. I pressed the intercom button on the conference phone. Security will escort you out. If you ever show up here unannounced again, they won't be as polite. As they were led away, Ava turned back. I'll take your offer, she said defiantly. I'll show you I can succeed too. I nodded. Good luck. You'll need it. Success isn't about luck though, it's about dedication, perseverance, and accountability. All the things you never learned at home. After they left, I stood in the conference room for a long moment, watching their figures disappear into the street below. My assistant brought me a coffee and quietly asked if I was okay. I'm better than okay, I replied. I'm free. That evening, I didn't work late for the first time in months. Instead, I went to dinner with my cousin Jessica and some friends from my executive team. We celebrated not just the company's success, but my final liberation from the past. Jessica raised her glass in a toast to building your own family. I smiled, looking around at the people who had chosen to be in my life, who supported my success instead of trying to leech off it. To building your own life, I corrected her, raising my glass. Later that night, I checked our system. Ava had already created her account but hadn't started any courses. Typical. I set up an alert to notify me if she ever actually began studying. I suspect I'll never hear that alert. Some people don't want success, they just want to complain about not having it. As for me, I've got an empire to run.